Have you ever said something that hurt someone you love, just because you were angry? Have you ever sent a message that 5 minutes later you wished you could take back? Or there's a decision that you later wonder, how could I have been so stupid? We've all had moments when we lose control. But what makes it dangerous isn't that you're weak. It's that in that moment, you're not yourself. And this video is here to help you avoid destroying the most precious things in your life, just because of a moment of losing control of your emotions. Imagine a storm coming up suddenly. The wind is howling, the rain is pouring, and you're at the helm of a boat in the middle of the ocean. If you let go of the wheel out of fear, you know what will happen. The boat will drift, capsize, or crash into rocks. Emotions are the same. When you're angry, panicked, afraid, or depressed, your emotions can push you in dangerous directions. Your rational brain, the part that helps you think rationally, is essentially shut down. And your primal brain, the part that controls your survival instincts, takes over. And everything you do then isn't driven by conscious thought, but by pain and reaction. Therefore, in those moments, the most dangerous thing is not your emotions, but how you act when you can no longer control yourself. You can say words that will drive someone away forever. You can ruin a career opportunity because of anger. You can let go of a dream, a relationship, a person, just because you think everything is hopeless. But you know what hurts the most? After the emotional storm passes, you are still there to live with the consequences. I once witnessed a very close friend, because of an argument while tired, said harsh words to his wife. It only took 3 minutes to say, but it took more than 3 years to mend. And there are people who never have the chance to fix it. Stoicism, an ancient school of thought that teaches people to master their inner self, once said, "You can't control the wind, but you can control the sails." Emotions come and go like the weather, but your actions define who you are. So the big question here is not how to stop feeling, because that is impossible. But rather, when emotions come, what do you do to keep from destroying yourself and what's important? In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 things you should never do when you're losing control. Small things, but if you remember and apply them, they can save you from making countless mistakes that cost others their entire lives. Are you ready? There's a strange thing that most of us have experienced. It's when we're at our most mentally disturbed that we want to make the most important decisions. When we're angry, hurt, or depressed, we tend to want to end things, to end a relationship, quit a job because the pressure is too much, or even change the direction of our lives because we feel like, I can't take it anymore. But have you noticed? Those decisions are often not made with awareness, but on impulse. And the scary thing is, the momentary emotion will pass, but the consequences will last a long time. Have you ever had that moment where you wake up one night and wonder, why did I say that? Or, why did I make that decision? That is the clearest proof that we often act most wrongly when we are no longer ourselves. Neuroscience shows that when we're stressed, angry, or afraid, the logical part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, goes into a state of temporary paralysis. Instead, our instinctive brain, the part that cares about survival and quick reactions, takes over. In other words, you're not thinking, you're reacting. And reacting on instinct rarely leads to good results. I once knew a person, a very talented, very emotional person, who, after 1 week of bad things, decided to quit his job, end a long-term relationship, and move to another city. 3 months later, he admitted, "If only I had just stopped and given myself some time." Emotions are like a flood. Don't build your house. Don't lay the foundations of your life while the water is still flowing. Wait until the ground is dry. Let your heart calm down before you make a decision. And the second thing is equally important. Don't say things you can't take back. When we are angry, we often think we just want to let it go to ease our mind. But the truth is, words are like arrows. Once they leave the bowstring, they cannot be taken back. Even if you apologize or explain, the damage has already been done. And sometimes, a sentence in 5 seconds can destroy a relationship you have built for 5 years. Saying things like, "I regret ever knowing you. You mean nothing to me," or "I wish I had never met you," sounds strong. But it will haunt you later. Not because you don't really mean it, but because you let your emotions guide you, not the facts. A very simple way to avoid this: take 5 minutes. If you can't be silent, write it down. Write down everything you want to say, everything you want to scream. But don't send it. Don't post it. Don't say it. Those 5 minutes could save a relationship, save your reputation, and most of all, save yourself from a lifetime of regret. Remember this: losing control is not a time of weakness. It's a time when you need to be stronger than ever, to not do something you'll have to live with for the rest of your life. You can't stop yourself from feeling angry, sad, or hurt, but you can always choose what you do with those feelings. And sometimes, just doing nothing is a wise move. There's a dangerous habit that most of us have fallen into: reacting immediately. As soon as we receive a text message that upsets us, as soon as someone says something offensive, or when someone deliberately pushes us to the limit, our first instinct is to want to respond. To retaliate, to get all the anger out of our heads. But have you noticed? It is those impulsive reactions that sometimes cost us much bigger things: a job opportunity, a friend, a relationship, or even the image we have built up over many years. I've seen great people lose credibility and trust with the people around them with just one angry comment. One angry email sent too soon, and you could lose your job. One thoughtless retort, and someone is gone forever. Stoicism, the ancient but very practical Stoic philosophy, has one principle that I always keep in mind. It's not the event that makes you miserable, it's how you react to it. The pain you feel, the hurt you carry, doesn't necessarily come from other people, it comes from how you let them control your emotions. When you react right away, you're giving them control, you're allowing others to push your buttons. So try something simple but powerful. Write down what you want to respond to, but don't send it. Leave it there. After an hour, or a day, come back and read it again. If you still feel like sending it, edit it and do it with intention. But 9 times out of 10, you'll think, "Oh, good thing I didn't send it." Sometimes silence in anger is the highest form of inner freedom. And the second thing, which often follows the first reactions, the desire for revenge. Someone hurts you, someone insults you, someone betrays you, and in your head, a sentence rings out: they will pay the price. But be careful, hatred is a fire that burns you first, not the other person. The more you hold on to revenge, the more you let that person continue to control your life, even after they've left. The ancients have a saying that I really like. The weak take revenge, the strong forgive, the wise ignore. You don't have to be a forgiving person right away, but you do have the choice to not let the pain control you anymore. Not let the hurt define your self-worth. Revenge is easy. Answering with results is difficult. When you are more mature, happier, more successful, that is the answer that no words can refute. I know, you may be hurting, you may feel insulted, put down, belittled, but don't let yourself pay for other people's actions. Let them be responsible for themselves, and you. You are responsible for you. And that responsibility starts with being calm. If you learn not to react immediately, and not to retaliate, you have won the game of courage and inner freedom. There are people who, when they lose control, don't yell at others. They turn and stab themselves. Not with a knife, but with the cruelest words imaginable. I am such a failure. I'm nothing. I've ruined everything. I don't deserve to live. Sound familiar? Have you ever said that to yourself in your head? Or worse, did you believe those statements to be true? In moments of crisis, many people do not take their anger out on others. Instead, they become victims of themselves. They become judges, executioners, and prisoners, all in one, within themselves. But here's what I want you to remember. Self-criticism doesn't make you stronger. It just drains you. You don't have to berate yourself to be responsible. You don't have to wallow in guilt to be good. In fact, what we often mistake for wise self-criticism is self-destruction disguised as a spirit of improvement. The consequences of constant self-blame go beyond feeling sad. It goes deeper. You lose faith in yourself. You begin to believe that you can't change, can't get better, and don't deserve another chance. And when the pain becomes too much to bear, you seek out a numbing drug, not to heal it, but to temporarily forget it. For this man, it was alcohol. For others, it's food, cigarettes, social media. Some people surf TikTok for 4 hours every night not because they're happy, but because they're running away from themselves. We don't get addicted to those things because they are so appealing. We are addicted to the pain that has not been named. When you drink to forget, when you binge eat to fill an emotional void, when you scroll endlessly on your phone to avoid facing the truth, you don't numb the feeling. You just push it down. And what you push down always comes back, stronger, more chaotic. So what is the solution? It's not about escaping. It's about transforming. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Instead of, why am I so bad? Go out for a walk instead of sitting around blaming yourself. Write down what you're feeling instead of mindlessly surfing the internet. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and simply allow yourself to be vulnerable without feeling ashamed of it. Emotions are not the enemy. Avoiding, denying, and condemning your emotions is what drains you. You deserve to be healed, not with blame, but with understanding and patience with yourself. Remember, you, even in your most troubled and vulnerable moments, are worthy of love and tenderness. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself isn't to get over it right away. It's to be quiet for a moment. Take a deep breath and say, I'm not going to give up on myself. No matter what. There is a very dangerous type of comfort we often turn to when we lose control. Call a close friend, not for advice, but just to hear, you're right, it's clearly the other side's fault. And so we feel relieved. Emotions are validated, anger is soothed. But do you see what's going on? We're not really looking for a solution. We're just looking for an alliance. In times of hurt, we can easily fall into a very subtle mental trap. We don't want the truth. We want to be on the right side. Whether the other side is wrong or not, whether we are at fault or not, as long as a few people nod, we are ready to set up a mental trial, to condemn others and forgive ourselves. And the more people on our side, the deeper we sink into extremism and bigotry. We begin to reject all conflicting advice. We build a wall of nods and lock ourselves in it. I once witnessed a very talented colleague, because of a conflict with his boss, pull a group of close friends to his side. Everyone said, "You are being treated unfairly." And he believed it. He wrote a resignation email in a fit of rage. Didn't ask again. Didn't listen. Didn't give anyone a chance, not even himself. 3 months later, he told me, at that time, all I needed was someone to tell me the truth, not to blame me, but to help me see clearly. Don't look for a sympathetic ear just to reinforce the hurt. Find someone brave enough to help you be more sober and more straightforward. The person who dares to say to you, I understand you are angry, but are you sure you are not partly at fault here? The person you don't need to hear sweet words from, but need them when you can't trust your own reason. A very simple question, but one that can completely change the game. If it were you, what would you do? Not to hear judgment, but to be illuminated by a more objective perspective than your own. And when you are sober enough to hear the truth, beware of one more trap. Blame the world. Life is unfair. Because I'm unlucky. Because everyone is bad. Those words sound so comforting. Because they help you temporarily escape the feeling of helplessness. But the problem is, if the fault lies with the world, what right do you have to change anything? When you blame, you are also taking away the power to change your life. Stoic philosophy says, we cannot control our circumstances, but we can always control our reactions. Meaning, the world may not be fair, but you can still be fair to yourself. Others may treat you badly, but you can still choose not to react as badly as they do. Instead of asking, why me? Ask, in this situation, what can I control? You may not be able to control other people, but you can control their voice, their eyes, their way of leaving. You can't control the past, but you can control the lessons you learn. You don't control the storm, but you control the steering wheel. And when you understand that, you won't need to blame. You will start choosing, and it is those choices that will save you from your darkest days. Have you ever felt like everything fell apart in just one day? One person leaves, one door closes, one mistake is irreversible, and in that despair, you blurt out, I give up, or worse, my life is hopeless. Those words were not mere exclamations. They were decisions, forever decision, but made in a very fleeting moment. And that is the danger. Emotions are fickle. Today you may feel dark. Tomorrow you may feel light. But if you make big decisions while you're in the midst of negative emotions, you're putting your future in the hands of the most uncertain and fragile version of yourself. Stoic philosophy reminds us of something simple yet profound. Everything is impermanent, even painful emotions. What hurts you today may not hurt you a year from now. What you think is insurmountable may be the very thing that makes you stronger if you persevere long enough. And the person you think you can't live without, you might be grateful they left later. Don't let one bad day make you think you have a bad life. Don't let one mistake make you believe you are a failure. When you feel like things are going wrong, stop. Don't react. Don't jump to conclusions. Just breathe. It sounds simple, but you'd be surprised. Most of us forget to breathe when we lose control. Our breathing becomes rapid and labored. And when our breathing becomes short, our minds shrink. We act not from reason, but from instinct. So, when you find things overwhelming, do this. Stop for 10 seconds. Take 3 deep breaths. And ask, what am I in control of? You may not be able to control other people. You may not be able to control what happens. But you can always control how you respond to it. When you choose to breathe, you are choosing to take back control from your emotions. When you choose not to react immediately, you are choosing not to let your past define you. And when you return to yourself, you will realize that inside you there is always a quiet space. No matter how chaotic the world outside is, pain is not the enemy. Vulnerability is not something to be ashamed of. But what makes pain persistent is when we try to run away from it. Instead of sitting and listening to it, change the question, why me? To, what am I learning here? Not to suffer resignedly, but to grow actively. Life doesn't promise you won't fall, but life always gives you a choice. Fall and get up, or stay in the bitterness of your own making. And that choice always starts with a deep breath. You don't have to be perfect. No one expects you to be as calm as a monk in the middle of a storm all the time. Emotions are human. Sometimes you'll get angry. Sometimes you'll get sad. Sometimes you'll panic. Sometimes you'll lose control. But what makes the difference isn't whether you have feelings or not. It's whether you let your emotions control your life or not. You have the right to feel pain. But don't let the pain make your decisions for you. You have the right to feel hurt. But don't let the hurt destroy what you've worked so hard to build. You can fall, but don't choose to stay when your mind is at its most chaotic. Because the decisions you make when you're weak are often the ones you'll regret the most when you're strong again. Look at yourself. In your daily life, every time you choose to be silent instead of shouting, you are winning. Every time you open a notebook and write down your feelings instead of texting someone, you are growing. Every time you slow down your breathing instead of breaking, cursing, or walking away, you're exercising one of the rarest superpowers, self-mastery. We live in a world that is constantly on the go, to react quickly, to respond immediately, to respond promptly, to always prove ourselves right. But sometimes, what you need most is not to react, but to stop, to give yourself enough time to remember. You have the right to choose how you live, regardless of the circumstances. The Roman philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said something that I want you to remember for the rest of your life. If you wait for others to change, you will wait forever. If you change yourself, you change the world. Not everyone will apologize to you. Not everyone will behave properly. Life will not always be fair to you. But you can choose not to respond with the same darkness. You can choose to keep the light in you, even when others have lost it. Because you know what? No one can take away your inner peace, unless you give it away. Every time you stay rational when emotions arise, you're not just living a better life, you're sending a powerful message. I am not a victim of circumstances. I am responsible for my life. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can always control one thing: how you react. And that changes everything. So, next time, when you find yourself losing control, when you're shaking with anger, when you want to give up or yell at someone, remember, it doesn't have to be perfect. Just don't let your weakest mind decide your strongest future. You can start over, right now, from a deep breath, from a small selection, from a decision not to react immediately. Start over, with yourself. Because you are the only one who can do it. If you found this video to touch a part of you, please take a second to like and share it with someone who needs to hear this too. And if you want to continue your journey of mastering your emotions, building your inner strength, and living a strong life from the inside out, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. Every week, I share content that will help you become a stronger version of yourself. Finally, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Of the 10 taboos when losing control, which one do you think you need to practice the most right now? I will read all comments and feedback as a companion. Thanks for staying till the end of the video. See you in the next video, where we continue our journey of mastering ourselves.